Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the forecast for August 2024. We're going to break down each life path number and take a look at what this month could hold in store for you. This, of course, is a general forecast. If you would like your own personalized numerology reading or forecast, please book some time with me. My information is in the description box below. I would love to work with you. Also, if you haven't yet subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're on my YouTube channel, please go ahead and hit the notification bell so that you know when I drop a video. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at what August has in store. Life path number 4. So this month we're going to be working with the vibration of the 11-2. So this is all about inspiration, what inspires us, what lights us up, what it is that helps us to feel fulfilled, sustained, and taking a closer look at the areas of our lives where we feel depleted, where it is that we feel uninspired, and finding ways to release those areas of life, right? To do things differently, to maybe release whatever that is, let go of whatever that is, change direction in some way. It could be relationships that are draining us, that aren't serving us or the other person. And so we may need to make some adjustments this month and sort of reevaluate how we show up to those connections and see if it's a connection that can either be salvaged and reignited, or if it's a connection that maybe needs to fall away. And sometimes that happens in life. So there is going to be, I believe, this month an opportunity to, again, take a closer look at those areas of our life where we're showing up because we feel loyal to that, because we've committed to whatever that is, but our heart's no longer in it. We no longer feel inspired by it. We no longer feel passionate about it. We no longer feel aligned with whatever that is. And so this month we could be asked to find ways to either, again, reignite that spark in some way, or recognize that it's no longer for us on our journey and find ways to release it. We could find this month that there are great challenges to be overcome. But with those great challenges comes either the opportunity to release whatever that is, because sometimes the challenges are so great that we can't overcome them. And the only way we could overcome them is if we sacrifice a part of ourselves in order to do so. And then at that point, we're not really doing it for our own journey. We're doing it for somebody else's. And so those challenges are there to show us that we don't even want whatever it is that we're fighting for. And so we might need to reevaluate. There are also challenges that are in front of us to remind us of how much we want something and help us to see different ways to achieve overcoming those challenges, whether that's recognizing our limitations and calling in the help to help us to do whatever it is that we're trying to do, or if it's just approaching it in a different way, if it's seeing it from a different perspective, if it's releasing the control or the need to be in control of the outcome and finding a way that's outside of the box to achieve that, overcoming that obstacle, right? And through that process, we sort of gain greater wisdom that we can use for our journey forward. And typically those are the challenges. When we overcome them, there's usually great reward on the other side of that. And so we get reignited, with that fire gets reignited to keep going, to keep moving forward. So this is definitely going to be a time to evaluate what it is that we actually want, what it is that we don't want, what are we willing to sacrifice or compromise on, what aren't we willing to compromise on, and what direction do we want to be moving in? This is going to be a time to be decisive and to make decisions and take steps that help to move us in the direction that we want to be moving in. We might not see the instant gratification, but we'll know that we're on at least the route that's going to help to get us there, right? So when it comes to making decisions this month, just ask yourself, is this decision, is this choice helping to move me in the direction that I want to be moving in, right? Doesn't mean that we're necessarily going to make a decision and we're going to be at the destination. But The question is the decision that I'm making, is the choice that I'm sort of taking, is that helping me to move in the right direction that I want to be moving in? Because if it is, then it's the right decision. It's the one for us. If it's not, if it's sort of just creating more obstacles, more challenges, more feelings of defeat, then this could be a month where we recognize it's time to shift gears, move in a different direction, and release that old goal, right? That old wherever it is that we've been moving. So this is definitely going to be a time, or potentially going to be a month, where we could find ourselves sitting at some kind of a crossroads, and we just have to make sure that the decision that we're making is the one that is serving us best in this moment, and that is serving all involved best in this moment. Definitely a time for thinking outside the box. The 11 brings the inspiration, the ideas, the larger than life goals, doing things big, thinking outside the box, and again, doing things differently, seeing things from a different perspective, and, calling in others to assist. 2 energy is all about relationships and relating to others and collaboration. So this could be a great month for, finding common ground, finding greater balance within your relationships, collaborating, being open to assistance from others, being open to other people's ideas on how to pursue something or complete something. So definitely when it comes to, whatever area this shows up for you, this is not going to be a month for being too rigid or too controlling and trying to control the outcome. Assert yourself, speak up for yourself, state what you need, but be open to sort of working with the other person or the other party to, again, find common ground or to find a solution that serves all involved. Definitely a month for saying yes to what inspires us and no to what doesn't. If it doesn't light us up, if it doesn't make us feel good, if it doesn't sort of contribute towards the direction we want to be moving towards, then it's probably a no, right? It needs to be released, or, our focus put on something that's more serving. So yeah, this could also be a time for, because this 11 energy really brings, again, the inspiration, greater creativity, sort of soul purpose also. So you could feel this call to explore some new avenues, try something different, be a little bit more adventurous. Again, think outside the box. I think that's sort of the key sort of mantra for us this month, is think outside the box. Don't feel like it has, just because it's worked before, doesn't mean it's the best option, right? So if we continue to keep ourselves boxed in, we're going to miss so many opportunities. So this could be a month where sort of the soul comes out and our creative mission kind of comes into view, where we could gain greater insights for what it is that we want to be doing that could bring greater fulfillment. And it's through those insights and that clarity of what it is that we want, right, that we can then make the decisions that will help to get us there. So beautiful energy this month, but it doesn't come without its challenges. But those challenges, of course, are not punitive. It's just helping us to see that there's a better way and a more aligned way of getting there, right? And if we can follow those breadcrumbs, if we can follow the inspiration, if we can follow what excites us and what lights us up and what makes us feel, what ignites that creativity within us, then we'll make the decisions and be moving in the direction that's going to help us to get there. Now, we're also working with squirrel energy this month. So this is interesting because the squirrel is the workhorse, right? It's this little workhorse energy where, they're like the little Johnny Appleseeds of the world. So the squirrel will, get the acorns, get the nuts, and they'll bury them for winter so that they have food for the winter. But a lot of times, they're kind of running around haphazardly and not really being too organized when it comes to where they're planting these seeds. So they plant all these seeds, and then the winter comes and they usually forget where they've hidden most of the seeds. So, they typically will remember enough to be able to get them through the winter, but they'll forget majority of those seeds. And that actually serves the greater population, because that's how trees are grown, right? So there are these little animals that run around that plant the seeds for the trees that serve a greater population. So with squirrel energy coming through this month, there's something here about definitely being curious, being creative, being, having a plan, being organized, but not to our detriment, right? Not being so organized, so sort of sterile and so rigid that we're missing out on this opportunity for doing something greater with our actions, right? So again, if we think about the squirrel, if the squirrel only planted the seeds that it needed, right? Only planted enough seeds that it needed and remembered where those seeds were planted, it would only be self-serving because it would only be feeding itself in the winter. But because it's a little bit more sort of free and a little bit more haphazard in its activities, it actually ends up serving a greater good, a greater population. And so what I mean by all this is the 4 can sometimes be more regimented, more, again, solution focused and very hyper focused on having a plan and being organized. And we can sometimes become too rigid in that. The 11-2 says, open yourself up to greater creativity, to bigger options. Think bigger. Don't just be so confined by our own belief systems, right? So with the 11-2, it says, be curious, be adventurous, think outside the box, go big or go home type of energy. And through that process, where there's still a little bit of method to the madness, we can end up not only serving ourselves, but serving a greater population. So really, 4s, this is an opportunity for us to throw caution to the wind this month and really don't be so rigid. And you will see that great things can come from that. There will be challenges, but there will be great rewards in direct proportion to those challenges. So I hope it's a great month. Take care. Bye for now.